Hello and welcome to Sensitive Changemakers, the podcast where we celebrate the power of sensitivity and introversion in leadership, entrepreneurship and beyond. I'm Kate Carter, your host, a certified professional coach, HSP and introvert who's passionate about helping you embrace your unique gifts and lead with authenticity. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to Sensitive Changemakers. I hope as always this episode finds you well. I am sat looking out of the window today and the weather is crazy. I don't know, you'll have to let me know if it's like it where you are, but we have had very cold weather this morning, so much so I said to my daughter when I was taking her to school, shall I wear my coat? And she was like, no, it'll be fine. Why did I listen to her? It's absolutely freezing walking around to school. And then I came back home and the sun was out, so I went to the gym this morning and had to put some of my sunglasses on. And then I've just sat and watched a rainstorm come down, stop, sun blaring through, and then another rainstorm, and I'm frantically looking for the rainbow. So it is crazy weather. I am very much looking forward to autumn. I love being in the UK. I love having the different seasons because there's something I love about all of them, but I do love autumn. There's something very cozy and just very appealing to my sensitive nature. So you'll have to let me know what it's like where you live. In today's episode, I'm going to get straight into it. I love language, and I know if you've listened to me before, you know I love language. I have a background in teaching languages. I wouldn't say I'm a natural at it. In fact, I know I'm not a natural at it, but I do love it. And that's really come through all areas of my life. I love marketing. I love supporting my clients with marketing and language because it just fascinates me. So today I really want to debunk some of the buzzwords in our space. And I want to do this because they get thrown around. And I think that we are supposed to understand what they mean. And again, I think there is nuance here. There's different ideas. There is also how different people take it on and what they make it mean. And I know for us as highly sensitives and introverts, we might be making it mean something maybe that it's actually not. So one of the buzzwords I really want to debunk today is the word authority. If you are in the online space, if you are a service provider, a coach, a therapist, you probably have heard about this authority. Now, I love some simplicity and I love doing things better rather than trying to do all of the things. And I've learned that this is partly due to my teaching background, so getting things done and done smarter has just served me so well, but also because too much of anything sends my nervous system overboard and I end up overwhelmed and lost, and this is when I really start to doubt myself. So I'm bringing this to the table just in case you have been maybe consuming content, maybe watching other service providers and coaches and gurus out there, and you keep hearing this word authority and you are finding it quite overwhelming and feeling like you have to do all of these different things in order to show this authority. And I really want to simplify things for you today. So I'm going to start with the definition. So authority, there were quite a few, but this is the one that I think is most appropriate or relevant to our online space. And this was the power to influence others, especially because of one's commanding manner or one's recognized knowledge about something. So why is this such a buzzword? Now, if you take the online space back to kind of 2018, 2019, 2020, I started in 2018. There was a kind of concept that if you just posted more, you got more clients. And that just isn't the case anymore. There really is a bit of a trust issue in our online space, and I think it's probably needed. I absolutely think it's kind of separating those entrepreneurs and those business owners who are in it for the right reasons and those that are not. And I think that can only be a good thing. But as a result of that, there is a bit of a trust issue. I don't think it stops us from signing clients. I just think it's something we need to be aware of. And so people are looking to feel extra safe with someone before they buy. And this authority is coming in because this is one of the ways that people are actually standing out as somebody that is extra safe, so that people feel reassured that they are going to get what they need from this person, container, program, whatever. So we've all heard about this like, know, and trust. And that one that I'm just going to really reiterate here is that trust. this is, for me, what authority really means. It's building trust and making people feel extra safe. It is you positioning yourself as that thought leader, somebody who doesn't mind saying exactly how they feel because that feels true for them and their business and their industry. And they know that they are not going to be for everyone. I listened to, I think it was Kim Atkinsinger the other day. Shout out to her. I think she's amazing. But she was talking about how if you want to grow, and I'm going to butcher this and I'm really sorry, but the idea was if you want to grow, you've got to be prepared to sit with disappointing people or not pleasing people or having people look at you in a different way or maybe not agreeing with you or not liking what you've said. And I think this really hits on highly sensitives and introverts, because for most of us, we are super sensitive in what other people think about us, but also we can put our kind of selves in other people's shoes and see what's going on for them. And so I think this really does play into why we feel this authority or stepping into an authority position quite an edge, because there is that discomfort that comes along with this. But I'm hoping you can hear what I'm saying here and see that, or the authority, this buzzword that is coming around, when we break it down, it is about building trust. It is about people feeling extra safe with us because they know that they're going to get what they need from whatever we're providing, whether that be a service, whether that be a container or a program. I hope that makes sense. So how do you do this? How do you actually stand in your authority or embrace this side of you? First of all, it is about that trust. And this doesn't happen by shouting louder or being everywhere online. Like I said, that was very 2019, 2020. This comes from alignment. This comes from showing up as you, like that thought leadership that I was just mentioning, in a way that feels safe for you, because you don't have to share everything about yourself and your audience. And for HSPs and introverts, like I was saying, this can feel really tricky because the online business space often celebrates the boldest voice in the room. But it isn't. So authority isn't about volume. It isn't about noise. It's not about shouting the loudest. It's about resonance. So if you think about a tuning fork, and when you strike it, it hums at a very specific frequency. And if there's another tuning fork nearby, tuned to the same pitch, it will actually begin to vibrate without being touched. That's what happens when you share your message from a place of deep alignment. Your people feel it, and they recognize themselves in your words, and trust naturally begins to grow. And I've hit earlier on why this authority can feel uncomfortable for HSPs and introverts. And this word authority itself can feel heavy. It might conjure kind of images of strict teachers or bosses or people who dominate a room by that kind of oppressive kind of energy. And if you're highly sensitive and introverted, that kind of presence might feel completely unnatural or even something you want to move away from. Like it can even feel repelling. And I want to offer you a reframe. Authority is not about control. And I would really invite you, if this feels like a word that doesn't feel good to you, like I was saying, I love language, then how about changing it to being a guide or a thought leader? Like these words, if they feel better, please use them. So authority is not about control. It's about being that guide. It's about being that thought leader. And I've got another analogy, which I'm kind of hoping helps build this picture. So if you imagine a lighthouse, bear with me here. If you imagine a lighthouse, it doesn't run up and down the beach, waving its light around, screaming for boats to notice it. It stays rooted and steady. And because it's grounded and it doesn't move, obviously it's a building, but bear with me. It stays in one place. It knows its job. It feels like an inanimate object. But you can imagine it stays, it's rooted, it's steady. And because of that consistency, that lighthouse is always doing the same thing. People know what it's for. And so ships naturally gravitate towards it and they trust its light to guide them safely to shore. Now, I know that might be a bit out there, but I hope that helps. And as a HSP or introvert, that's your model of authority. You don't need to chase or convince. You simply, and I say simply because I know that this isn't necessarily easy, but learning to stand clearly and consistently as yourself is the best thing you can do. So I'm going to give you some sort of break this down even further and hopefully give you some food for thought and some ideas that you can take away to implement. So the first one is clarity over complexity. Authority doesn't come from doing everything, as we've spoken about. It comes from doing the right things really well. So think of your business like a cozy cafe. It's got a beautiful menu. You're really good at what you do. You're a really good chef. You're really good at producing wonderful, beautiful food. And people keep coming back because they know exactly what to expect, and it's always high quality. You don't need lots and lots of different offers. You can simplify. And like I said, I'm a big lover of simplifying. You can simplify your offers, your messaging, and even your marketing. And this not only protects your nervous system, because let's face it, like I said before, it's so easy for us to get overwhelmed and really be kind of overwhelmed by too much information, by too many gurus, by too many coaches telling us all these different things that we've got to do. Simplifying things helps to protect our nervous system, but it really also creates a real clear experience for your audience. And if you think about that lighthouse again, we are not constantly changing. The lighthouse isn't constantly changing what job it does. It's like a lighthouse one day and then a shop the next day. It's always a lighthouse. And that's what I want you to think about here. How can you root into the ground here on what you do? Make it simple, make it repeatable, and make it something that you can turn up to time and time again. It's not overwhelming, it's clear, and your audience knows exactly what you do and how you can help. The second point is consistency. Now, consistency does not mean every day, especially for highly sensitive and introverts. It is whatever consistently looks like for you. And it's not just about consistency in terms of posting or in terms of showing up on social media. It's consistency in terms of energy and your message, like consistent message. Like again, that I know I keep coming back to the lighthouse, but that lighthouse, it's always showing, presenting the same information, the same kind of message over and over again. You know, we can do that in our business in different ways, but that grounded, rooted part of us is the same. So we've got that consistency there in our messaging, our consistency in how we show up, our consistency in our energy. So authority grows when people can rely on you to show up, whatever that looks like for you, even in small ways. So like I said, you don't have to post every day. It could be sending one thoughtful email a week. It might be showing up on your podcast, or it might be sharing those meaningful posts on social media in a way that feels good for you. And your audience then can begin to feel safe because they know you won't disappear or suddenly change direction or suddenly be somebody else. The third one is sharing parts of you that maybe you haven't done before. Now, I did a visibility challenge in my Facebook group. I did it over 2 weeks. We didn't do the weekends. We just did Monday to Friday. And on Monday, I did a feedback session live in the group, and I went over what I thought was amazing about the different posts and the different kind of comments that people made, and then areas that I could see to expand and to make it work even better for them. And one of the things that I absolutely loved was some of the questions that I asked were a little bit more kind of off kilter, should I say, in the fact that they weren't necessarily specific about the business or who they help. Although I did ask those questions as well, it was very much like, what's your favorite tool? Share a behind the scenes. How do you like to work? It was those types. And I got to know these people so much better because of the comments and the things that they said about these little bits and pieces. And I now have a clear kind of connection with some of these people because I can relate to some of them. Like, yes, I mean, there was one lady who very poetically, it was beautiful, talking about how she likes to work with the candle and she has the window open in the summer and the breeze comes in, and it built this wonderful picture. And my question to the group was, how often do you bring that information and that kind of side of you into your content? And that's kind of the task, should I say, that I've given the people in my Facebook group. So how can you really deepen your connection with your audience? And it might be about sharing, like I said, sharing more about things that maybe you wouldn't have done before, but it might be sharing more about your process and how you work. And I think I've spoken about this before. I'm not sure whether it was last week or the week before. I always pulled back from this because I just assumed that everybody else did it already. So I think it might have been last week about the meditation. I had my own system for meditation because pure meditation back in, I think, 2016 when I started to do meditation, I found it really difficult. And so I kind of made my own process. Now, I never shared that with anybody because I just assumed everybody else did something similar. And there's that assumption, I think, with us as HSPs and introverts that we just assume that because we've thought about it, other people already know about it. And that isn't the case. So if you've got some thought leadership here, again, it brings it back to that thought leadership. If you've got a way that you approach something, if you've got a process that you use, if you've got a way of looking at things, share it, because the assumption that somebody else does it isn't always true. And actually, if you're sharing that, that could be just the thing that somebody needs to hear, because you've worded it in a different way that it suddenly clicks for somebody, like, oh my God, I'd never thought about it like that. So don't pull back from sharing about your processes, your ideas, your thoughts, because actually they can be what really connect you to your ideal clients. And I know that there is an edge here about it feels like bragging. And I would really, again, invite you here to think about it as inviting people into your world. If you watch somebody who was really skilled at something and they were trying to tell you, well, this is how you do it, or come over here, I'll show you, you wouldn't think, oh my God, they're bragging. You would think, oh my God, they're allowing me to have a go with them. I can't believe that this is something they're actually allowing. So there is an element of shifting your perspective here from seeing it as bragging to thinking about it as inviting people into your world and getting to know them, because we're great at relationships. We're great at talking to people in our own kind of introverted way, but really do lean into that. Lean into that. This is how I'm getting to know people. This is how I'm building their relationships. This is how I'm inviting people into my world. It's not bragging. I'm actually just getting to know these people better because I know that I've got something of value here. Okay, so those are my main points. And I'm just going to wrap this up. I think this is quite a quick one today. So I'm going to wrap this one up by kind of saying you do not need to force yourself into a boss energy. This is what I thought that I really needed to do back in like 2018, 2019. You don't need to force yourself into that boss energy archetype to be seen as an authority, to be seen as a thought leader. And remember, if authority doesn't feel like a good word here, shift it into thought leader, guide, if that feels better for you. And remember that our calm, thoughtful nature is actually one of our biggest gifts. This authority idea isn't about performance. It's a natural byproduct. And I'm going to stress this again. It's a natural byproduct of being deeply rooted in our values by showing up consistently and prioritizing trust over trends. If you don't take anything else away from this podcast episode, I'm going to say that again because I really want it to be in your head. Okay, being in authority isn't about performance. It's not about being loud. It's not about being extroverted. It's a natural byproduct of being deeply rooted in your values, showing up consistently and prioritizing trust over trends. So instead of trying to be the loudest voice in the room or thinking that you have to do all of these different things in order to start signing clients in 2025, focus on the clearest, most grounded signal. Just think about that lighthouse. You are steady, reliable, and deeply trusted by those who need its light. I really hope that lands with you today. Let me know how you get on with this. I am sending you so much love as always, and I'll be back with another episode soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. If you have any takeaways or any questions, please do reach out to me either through Instagram, LinkedIn or Facebook at Kate Carter Coaching, or you can email me at kate@katecarter.co.uk. I always love to hear your feedback and the things that you have taken from the podcast. If you know of any other highly sensitive people, then please do share this so that I can reach more and support more highly sensitive people to embrace their strengths and gifts. As a thank you, I will pick a winner every month for a free 50-minute coaching session with me. Thank you so much.